as you guys approach the village, you can kind of see it in the distance between some of the trees. The sun is setting, and the large bullywug, who you've talked to probably the most, he is leading you towards it, and he says, kind of leaning backwards towards you all.
You let me do the talking. I talk. You no talk.
Okay. I didn't know there was an issue about talking, but good.
You got this.
So he nods his head, and he says,
They no like outsiders. They don't like people. They don't know.
So he leads you towards the village, and as he arrives, you see a familiar face. The kind of staff-wielding, thinner bullywug that you had met originally with the kind of cyan skin, who you gave a gemstone to. He is standing on one of the wooden platforms in the middle of the town with a bunch of the bullywugs surrounding him, and he's showing off the gemstones that you guys gave. You guys really weren't in the cave system that long. You were down in the caves for about an hour or two. It was not that long. So when you came back up, the horned frog bullywug brought you to the village, and here's where you're at. The kind of shamanistic one with the staff is showing off the gemstones that you gave, and all of the bullywugs are oohing and awing. And the large toad that brought you here says,
I brought back the guests.
And the shaman one who's showing off the gemstones, he kind of puts them back in his pockets, and he says, I did not think you would come back here. Are you all... Oh, you look beat up. He points to you all, and his eyes get all big. He says, I don't know if we should let them stay here. Maybe more payment, more shinies. And the big horned frog says,
Don't you think they're a little beat up right now? Maybe we should give them a break.
They kind of back and forth a little bit, and eventually the horned frog convinces the elder to allow you to sleep in one of the muddy huts, as they call it.
We let them sleep in one of the muddy huts. Over there.
And points to some rundown-looking straw huts on the corner of town.
If you want better accommodations, you probably have to pay.
No, that's a good. On with those.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys head over to the muddy huts and settle in for the night. Everyone go ahead and long rest. If you haven't already, hit the long rest button at the top of your character sheet.
And just an FYI, I did pick up the immovable rods from that we had set before.
Good.
Smart. Very smart.
All right. So now that you've gotten your long rest, you wake up in the early morning to a pair of eyes looking at you from the doorway of your muddy hut that you're all laying on the ground of. These eyes are just kind of just staring at you very blankly. Big frog reptile eyes, just peeking through the opening. Thank you for the sub, Malice. And as you guys start waking up, you see the eyes disappear, and you hear just like a little noise, like a.
The hell was that?
I think it was
Being
a frog.
watched.
I'm gonna check my pockets.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll
Not that it
perception
matters, I have
checks,
a bag of
everybody.
holding, so
Perception
Oh, no.
checks to see if you lost anything. Oh, pretty good rolls.
Eyes were open this time. Yeah, here we go.
All.
So with your pretty high rolls, you guys don't notice anything missing. No, this person seemed to have just been watching you.
It's
Can I-
creepy and rude to stare at people when they're sleeping. I'm gonna say that.
I was gonna say, can I notice how creepy that is?
Oh, okay. Well, we're all up. We got lots of places to go. I did want to maybe teach these things how to fight Death Kiss. They could be the protectors to make sure that our Death Kiss doesn't come out and quite literally kill everyone.
They're far enough away,
I
aren't
feel like
they?
it's too big to get out.
I wouldn't risk it, but I want to check with the bullywogs. I kind of have a cool idea.
All right.
I'm gonna go to the Bullywog's commander.
So, using my magic, we have seen what the thing looks like, and I can change to look into it and teach you guys how to fight against it.
You can what?
I can make myself look like one and teach you how to fight against them.
You are a
No.
He draws his
Magic.
spear at you and points it at you.
Magic. I teach you how to fight.
You don't look like it.
I'm not.
You're tiny.
He points his spear at you. You are like a foot shorter than him.
I teach you how to protect village against.
Mm,
Roll a persuasion check, please.
you couldn't fight one if your life depended on it.
Fine. See if I try to do something nice for you.
Yeah.
Now you could fight one.
Points his spear at Kethrakk.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Are you saying you're weak?
No. But
You're weak like baby.
Without my friends, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And we did it.
He's saying big things come in small packages.
It was mostly me.
Roll a deception check with.
I'm gonna laugh if it's low.
Oh,
20.
I didn't expect that, but I believe you. She fought them.
Anyways, would you like to learn how to fight against them so that way if they ever come out, you can protect the village?
No, are you crazy? We can't kill them. We're
Yes, you
weak.
can.
We're weak little babies. Like Kethrakk.
Wait. This is getting out of hand.
Okay, well,
We can't
there
fight
are
them. We
ways
will
to
just
fight
run.
them.
We outrun them in the swamp.
You throw spear, then outrun. Throw spear, outrun.
That's a lot of work and a lot of spears.
They're actually not that hard to beat.
You just gotta be smart. Don't get close. Don't ever get close.
Oh, I could have told you that. You are patronizing me.
No, but honestly though, if it comes out, try to kill it though.
No, we run.
Okay, you run.
We run and
You
hide.
run.
It's too big to come out of there anyway.
Hopefully.
I've never seen it come out. Why would it come out?
Well, because it's pissed. Probably.
I thought you killed it.
No, we said we were running away from it.
No,
You killed what then?
there were other things in there.
Oh,
Giant slug thing.
Yeah,
Harpies.
oh,
harpies.
those slugs did that to you?
No,
Points to your bloody bandages.
no, there
It
were
was,
harpies.
Mimics.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, mimics. Also bad.
I don't know
Those
what a
were
mimic
actually
is.
the worst thing in there. Not gonna lie.
What's a mimic?
Looks
Big
like one object eats you.
Oh, I've seen those before.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
was a big pile of poop. It ate my
I'll
best
believe
friend.
that.
Why did you get close to that? I wonder.
We were gonna eat it.
Okay, with that,
I'm leaving. So
let's go.
I killed.
You want to say something? What?
Just cut me off. I killed.
No. Let's go.
Well, it was really nice meeting you all. Thanks for the gems.
Oh, you're welcome.
Show me the shinies again.
And he runs off towards his friend.
Cool.
All
Are
right.
we off?
I hope they get eaten.
Damn.
I love the bullywugs, dude.
One
They're
punch.
awesome.
This is all entirely improv. All entirely improv. All right. So the bullywug frog runs away, and you guys leave the village, heading towards Drudgemoor. And the screen fades to black. And as we fade back in, you are walking through. You've been walking for days. Okay, you've been walking for days and days. And you guys have done a lot of things during those days. You have met travelers on your trip, just nice people here and there. You've stopped at a couple different inns or off the beaten track. You've read your books over the last, we're going to say 6 days. So if you have a book that you've been trying to read, you've gotten 6 days worth of
That would be
reading
the dwarven
Dwarf
book.
book. Yeah.
Yeah, or
who was we were all reading?
I'm reading that one.
Some people
Oh.
had books for different things.
yeah. So we had
I-
the book of altered copy of the history of Raziel. You had the books of Pax and People. Pox, that would probably be the book you would want to read.
I was
Um,
I was reading that. Yeah, that was I had a chapter bookmark.
And yeah, I would probably read through the books of the aberrations and monsters. I'd actually do 3 and 3. 3 days of that and 3 days of the altered copy of Raziel.
Okay, cool. Then I'll tell you guys kind of what you get. So, Whip, I have nothing to really tell you other than you're close to being proficient enough to be able to read Dwarven. Pox, with the Pax and Peoples book that you have been reading over the last 6 days, you've learned a couple things. First of which is that in Drudgemoor, there is a pact of people that have been brought up in the last 30 years, and they worship a creature known only as the Hallowed One. So this is something that you will also notice is only on a map. It shows it's only in Drudgemoor. Not something that's very far spread at all.
Okay.
Then the other thing you learn is about the Hexblade. The Hexblade is your deity and is also, across cultures, you're learning, fluid in their, just like you, like a changeling. They're fluid in their gender, their shape, their size. It comes to people in different ways. But it provides similar abilities.
Red.
Hey everybody. Wait, is that all I learned?
Yep, that's pretty much the information you learn.
Guys, you want to hear about my book, Pax and People book?
Yeah, sure.
In Drudgemoor, there is a pact of people that have been brought up in the last 30 years, and they worship a creature known only as the Hallowed One.
That sounds terrifying.
Well, it doesn't stop there. So this is something you will also notice. It's only in Drudgemoor. The other thing you learn, it's the Hexblade. The Hexblade is my deity, obviously.
Wait,
And
you have
also,
a deity?
yeah, then I told you about this. Come on.
You didn't tell us about a deity.
Zim, please. I am trying
Are
to
you
make
a
it in the book.
cleric?
No.
Are you saying you're the hollowed one?
No.
Oh.
Wait, if you're not a cleric,
mean,
how
in
do you
some
do the
tab-
magic? Wait, are you a...
Zim, you know what I do. Come on, you know.
No, I don't.
You've never seen the.
I've seen the
Before
Eldritch
you-
Blast. That's all I've seen.
You've
Yeah, I've seen
you've
the
seen that
pew
before
pew.
though, right? You know
I'm
people who
lost.
do that. You guys
No.
don't know about the Eldritch Blast. That's my Eldritch Blast move. You guys haven't seen anybody else who's
I've
ever.
seen
That's what I
that.
call it. I've called
wait,
it's my.
what-
'Cause I don't know why I call it that. I read a book once.
But are you a warlock?
You sort of, yeah. Yeah.
Did you sign your soul to the devil?
No.
I thought that's
No.
what you had to do to be a warlock.
No. Do you see? And do you see? And Pox pulls out her or the sword. a little bit of puff of smoke, like a really subtle purple puff of smoke comes out of. Yeah, that similar reminds you of. Can I give them this, Commander? That reminds you of the of my Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, Eldritch Blast,
it's you've never watched me draw my weapon.
But to be honest, I thought you were.
Pretty sure the last time I summoned it was like I haven't.
I thought you were like a sorcerer or something.
No. So this is my sword. Yeah. So we found this. I know we found this as we were going along. This wasn't the weapon I always started with. But it is nice, and I decided to make it my pact weapon. I'm bound to like the Hexblade, which is just it's like a pet name we have with each other. Oh. And so basically, I'm not like I didn't sign my whole soul. They're not the devil. Like that's the thing. You really
part of your soul.
No, it's more like a pact, like a pact, with a weapon, channeled through a weapon.
Did you have to cut your hand to join the pact?
No, it wasn't like that.
Did you have to sacrifice any virgins?
No, absolutely not. No, we just met, and we stumbled upon each other one day. Look, I'll tell you that. Look, that's all. That is
I'm learning so many new things that I didn't know.
That is a long story that will only happen when everybody else is sick and it's just me and Commander. We'll do a one-on-one backstory and it'll be super weird. But for now, that I will wait until that moment happens. It's like a rainy day, like what's that one where they read the book, the never-ending story?
Fine, I get it.
It's so I'm not the devil. We aren't the devils. We're not evil.
I didn't say you were a devil. I'm just asking questions. There's a lot of stereotypes out there, and
sometimes you just gotta not judge people by.
I was asking questions because I didn't know.
Well, do you really need to ask the mean, not the mean ones, but do you really need to ask the stereotypes? I mean, how long have we've been fighting together for a few days now? You know how I do things and how I exist, sort of recently.
No, I know. That's what I was asking. I didn't know. I turned into monsters.
My brain hurts.
I just kind of look.
Pox, you're noticing everyone's eyes glazing over.
I'm lost.
So this is something you also notice is only in Drudgemoor. Look, let me just finish the book, okay? What I learned about the book, I have Pox looks at it's like that. It's written on
the smudge notes on her hand.
Yeah. Argue about origin. Okay, the only thing you learn is a hexblade. Hexblade is also called. So I have a hexblade. We hang out. It's so basically apparently. I'm not the only hexblade because that's, I knew this because I was saying you guys haven't seen that, but I've never seen it manifested. So,
do you want to meet your family in Drudgemoor? Is that what you're saying?
There's a lot of free forming hexblade characters out there. I don't know how they come to be, but they do it in different ways.
Interesting.
And it provides similar abilities to that of a changeling, which is even also other strange. So
the hexblade themselves. They have the ability to change shape to whoever they are coming to and showing themselves to. So that's kind of it's interesting that you share that with the hexblade. So you can decide then, Wembo, you can decide what Pox thinks about not being the only hexblade, and that the hexblade is similar to you in the way that you live your life. It seems like the hexblade lives its eternal life that way. And you're not sure how much you share in common in terms of deception. You may be starting to think like, wait, if I'm not the only one, then am I just being used by this thing? Like, there could be a lot of thoughts running through Pox's head that I'll let you decide whether you're what Pox thinks, And you can do that whenever you want. You don't have to decide that now. But that's just information for you.
Look, everybody gets my sword, but I don't, we're not evil is my point. It's just a thing. Because if you assumed anything evil about being a hexblade, I just want to say again.
I didn't ask if you were evil. I just asked if you did some other things.
I trust it all. I trust everything.
All right. So as you guys finish up this conversation, I'll go into Zim. In the monster book, as you read through that, go ahead and roll me an investigation check, and I'll let you know what kind of monsters you find in there. With a 12, I think the 4 monsters that you found in the last cave is probably good for now. Yeah, because you also had the mimic that I forgot about too. So, I think you're good on finding monsters in that book at the moment. But with the history of Raziel, as you read through it, I think I've told you a little bit already. Yo, Jack! Thank you for the raid of 45. What up, Jack Clan? Hi, everybody. Thanks for the raid. Got the Among Us Cheeks emote. All right. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome. We're playing Out of Time. It's a Cyberpunk Dungeons and Dragons. Our group here is about to head into a town that's kind of like an old rundown mafia town. So that's kind of what we're headed into. Telling one of the players a little bit about what they're learning from a book that they read about. If you guys ever watched Samurai Jack, that's basically what this show is. So welcome everybody from Jack's stream. To give you basically a quick rundown, this group of enemies, guys, people saying stuff in the chat. Stop joking around. Wembo, joking around in the chat. This group of players, these guys here, they got sent forward in time to a time where the big bad evil guy already won. And they need to get sent backwards in time or defeat the big bad evil guy to try and figure out how to get back to their original time. So that's why it's called Out of Time. They're a bunch of Lord of the Rings characters in a cyberpunk world. So that's the premise. Okay, so welcome everyone from Jack's stream. Thanks for being here. Okay, so Zim, Blake, reading through the history of Raziel. I've told you quite a bit about it already, but what is there something that you want to know?
I want to look about all the people who have been against Raziel, who are known rebellion people in all of the different cities, the different sects, the different people. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Anyone who I can make an ally.
Okay, got it. Looking through, there is only one section that hints at anyone being an enemy of Raziel. The whole thing is really just a big boast on his part. The whole book, right?
Even
it's a textbook of
the altered one.
Hmm?
Wait, I wanted the correct one.
Yeah, the one that's like specially altered.
Yeah.
Right. So as I told you, it's kind of like the original copy. It's got some notes on the sides, but again, most of it is bragging. Okay. Most of it is boasting and telling the publication exactly what he wants the textbook to say and that kind of thing. There aren't many instances of him writing about his enemies, which as you think about it more and more, you're like, that makes sense. Why would he ever, he's so narcissistic. Why would he ever spend even a minute putting pen to paper to talk about someone other than himself? Why would he care? So he doesn't have any notes in that particular book.
I didn't know if he mentioned any people that he had destroyed or crushed, in that narcissistic way. These are people who I have wrecked into the world, who are basically no longer here.
Right. So there are 2 places that he mentions are despicable, disgusting, heathenous places that he and everyone who loves him should never go. And those places are Drudgemoor and I always forget the name of this one. Give me a second. I gotta pull up my map because you guys haven't been there or even close to there yet. Where's my Out of Time? Scroll up. And Urkrazad.
Urkrazad.
Yep, Urkrazad is out in the desert. It's the one that's ruled over by the Jinn. Which, when you think about it, makes sense. As even Raziel doesn't quite have the power of wish.
Yeah.
But it does, now that you're thinking about it, I'll let you think. So you've got a djinn who rules over Urkrazad being this like desert metropolis, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the people there worship this djinn. This djinn is seemingly all-powerful, having the ability to grant wishes and being able to pretty much have control over a lot of things. Zim might be curious why the djinn has allowed everything to become so dark, and why the djinn has allowed Raziel to rise to power, if that's the case.
Unless he's not actually all powerful.
So there could be a bunch of reasons why, but maybe that's something Zim would be curious about.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So as you guys are walking, the desert that you've been walking through, it's not really a desert, it's more like a wasteland, like the Black Hills type, like cracked dirt wasteland. That's kind of what you've been walking through. As you've been walking through that, you've just been, kind of enjoying each other's company, getting to know each other more. I mean, really, you guys have only spent about a month or so together as people, like as characters. But in that time, you're getting to know each other a bit better and all that good jazz. Solus is getting pretty good on his leg, getting pretty good controlling that. So that's good. Do you guys think that you would be dragging your cart this whole way too?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
The plan would be to take it if I knew if there was some other entrances or less used passageways that were less watched in Drudgemoor, or at least were, but like 53 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The goal would be to take it to one of those.
Okay, sure. So as you're walking through this like barren kind of wasteland, it begins to slowly, you see patches of green, patches of grass begin to form. And then that grass, you can see, has little bits of frost on it.
Interesting.
And then as you continue to walk, this is now probably like day 6, like the 6th day of you walking. You start to see snowflakes falling.
Oh shit!
Did it ever snow in Drudgemoor when? Okay. I just wanted to make sure this was a common occurrence and not.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it would rain and snow here, and that's pretty much like the only two weathers. It's rain or snow.
Yeah.
So as you are approaching, you see the snow falling, and immediately, Zim, you recognize it as we're getting close to home. It is slush snow. It is that wet, heavy snow that when you step on it, you'll like slip a little bit.
It's the snow I chopped my fingers off in.
Right. Yes. In real life. Yes. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Oh.
Amen. So as you're approaching, you now see the city of Drudgemoor nestled into the mountain in the distance. Again, it's mostly a wasteland leading up to Drudgemoor, but now it is kind of like a mixture of snow, sleet, and dirt as you're walking up to the town. You can already smell it from 15, 20 miles out. You can smell Drudgemoor from here.
God,
It smells
this is the
like
worst.
it smells like industrial coal. So that's like the first thing that hits your nose is like that kind of coal smell. And you can see the city is just a big cloud of black soot coming out of it. You also smell like sewage, which is a very familiar smell, Zim. And then like a slight fish smell. And that's from it being like a dock, a big port town for the fish trade.
Ah, freedom.
That's
what
No.
freedom smells like.
It
Tom,
smells.
you lived
smelly.
here for a long time.
I
What are
mean,
those
Kethrakk, this is
flying
also
bad
your home.
when I lived here, to be fair.
What?
Kethrakk, this is also your home.
Oh,
Yeah. Smells smelly.
Yeah, 2 people
like
lived here, Whip.
that is. I am sorry
Nora.
to hear
I
that.
miss this.
Oh.
So
Well, it's
That- Cute.
Anything else anyone wants to say?
It's nice.
Roll a deception check.
Who?
unless Pox actually thinks it's nice.
It's nice. It's
17.
It's not bad.
Pox
not
seems like
bad.
they're enjoying it, everybody.
Whether they, yeah.
Might be surprising to some of you.
Well, I'm sure, Pox, you will
like
meet
water.
lots of people here that you will not be able to trust and who will try to stab you on the back, but you might enjoy it.
All right. Sounds like home. Let's do it.
So as you approach the city, things are strikingly familiar, Zim and Kethrakk. The first of which is the city, you can tell, has not grown upward almost at all. As opposed to Neotaurus, which got extremely tall, full of skyscrapers and large buildings, Drudgemoor remains a fairly short city for the most part. The tallest buildings are that of the Fisherman's Watchtower, which can be seen from quite a few miles away, and the large smokestacks that come out of the underground coal factories. So those are the largest, quote-unquote, buildings or features in the city. Everything else is pretty level. The city is very wide. It's probably 20 miles from one end of the city to the other. It's very wide and flat. The buildings are made of makeshift metal, rusted metal, and old kind of sheets of mostly, metal and screws and bolts. Everything looks like it's held together by chicken wire and chewing gum. The whole place is ramshackle for the most part. But Zim and Kethrakk, I would like you to both roll me history checks.
Oh, that's probably not gonna. Let's see. I don't remember shit about Drudgemoor.
I
So
remember my home.
good. So Zim, you've blocked out quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
You blocked out quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
Hard to remember exactly like a lot of the features of the city, and most of that is because you spent a lot of time underground too. A ton of the time you spent in the sewer system, running from place to place, doing tasks for your former, I guess you could say, bosses. Kethrakk, what you remember with a 15 is the city is divided among groups of people, and this is for Pox and Nara. I'm kind of teaching everybody right now a little bit about the city. So the first of which is the city. Let me actually just pull up my document real quick, because I had a document with all this information on it that I want to make sure I get everything right and don't misspeak. So
Take your time.
thanks. I will.
But that book about packs and people was really interesting.
Is it?
Yeah. I know I've been going on about it a lot, but I read it.
Yep.
God,
I'm proud that you read something.
thank you. It's been a while, but yeah, like 80 years or something, right?
I thought I see you like reading all the time. I thought, but
It's been it's been 80 years since I read my last book.
well, you can't really say that because it's been. The whole,
80 something odd. Time travel.
Well, so you
We
did
traveled.
30 years before that.
No, because we jumped 80 years ago.
We only
53.
I didn't read.
53 years. not 80.
53. Sorry, I have 53, right?
180 years.
Right. I don't look. I was lost in that book about packs and people. It's super interesting. I'm not a numbers person. I'm not the type of lady
You're a
to
book
get.
person, though.
I'm a survivor. I'm an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
I know when to hold them. I know when to fold them. When to walk away and when to disengage. And
You
I
should
definitely.
write that down.
All right, so we're gonna keep rolling here. if that's okay with everyone, because we're already started late today.
Let's get out of here. Look, we've been standing around for a while. Come on, Nara.
So, teaching you about the city of Drudgemoor. So, you're going to be spending quite a few sessions in this city. So, these are important things to remember. These are what you remember, Kethrakk, and I imagine you probably tell the group, unless there's something you don't tell them. So, I'm going to tell you, and you let me know if there's anything that you don't tell them, but I'll just assume that everything's shared. So, the first thing that pops into your head is the northern part of Drudgemoor, which was formerly run by your family. You're not sure exactly if that remains the same. You're not sure if the Silvermane Mafia is still in function currently, but the northern part of Drudgemoor is known for its underground fighting rings and its populous club and nightlife. So that's where the Silvermane Mafia has their headquarters, and also is a good place for like the nightlife and the party scene in Drudgemoor. Southeast Drudgemoor. So the city's kind of in like a triangular shape. So northern tip of the triangle, Silvermane Mafia, nightlife, fighting rings. Okay. Southwest, so like lower right-hand corner, run by the Blackbeards, which is, lower left-hand corner, run by the Blackbeards, which is a criminal empire of dwarves that manage the harbor. So that's like the bottom left triangle, and that's where the harbor of the city is. I don't have a map for the city. I will make one up, though. Don't worry. So Southwest Drudgemoor, Blackbeards, criminal empire of dwarves. Basically, nothing goes into the harbor, like comes into the harbor or leaves the harbor without their approval, as far as you remember. Then Southeast Drudgemoor, so the right-hand tip of the triangle, is run by the Plague Mafia, which is a huge group, like massive numbers of rat folk, which are basically were-rats, except for they don't turn back into humans. You know what I'm talking about. They're like lizard folk, or
we have met one.
You have met a rat folk, yes. You met a rat folk in Neotaurus. Mm-hmm.
He's in the chat.
there is a rat in the chat. True. And they run the black market, so that's like where the black market is in Drudgemoor. You're gonna find like any item you could probably want in the black market. It's just gonna depend on how much you want to pay for it and how much you're willing to sacrifice, if you know what I'm saying. You're gonna be hard pressed to find a spot in Drudgemoor, specifically in that area of Drudgemoor, where there's not a rat folk listening to you from the sewers. So that's not a place that you're going to want to spill your secrets in the southeastern part of Drudgemoor. And then like in the middle of the triangle, that is run by a group only known as the Midnight Hollows, which is not mafia or crime related, like organized crime related. They are kind of an underground group that acquires unwanted children or orphans and basically either purchases them or straight up snatches them, and then raises them as like worker bees, turns them into runners for illegal narcotics, or make them into like breed them up to be great fighters so that they can rig the fighting rings, or they basically like turn the kids into whatever they want. And they also are, and this is only something that Zim would know. Zim, and of course you would remember this because this is your group. This is not something you would have blocked out. You would also know that they experiment on a lot of these kids, which is how you ended up getting your powers, and how a lot of other kids have gotten theirs. Specifically, do you remember one kid that you've met who's now an old man? Do you remember his name?
Yeah, I have it written down. I have to go. Chandler.
Mm-hmm. So you have a group that's kind of central in Drudgemoor that is very nefarious, but not as open about it. Like, it's not like everyone really knows about it. It's really only something that Zim would know a lot about, and I assume Zim would warn you guys about that.
I've already told them about it.
Yeah. So Zim has already told you a lot about that. Kethrakk, the Midnight Hollows is a name you've heard before, but not one that you were super familiar with until you met Zim. Zim then told you kind of about what they do with the whole kidnapping of kids and stuff. So with that, you've got the kind of triangular city of Drudgemoor. Any questions about like the groups that you want me to answer right now before we go into the city? Yeah, they bad people.
They very bad
I
people.
think that's good.
All right. So on one hand, I would imagine some of you as characters are pretty like worried about going into a place that's full of so much crime and so many bad people. But on the other hand, it is also a place that seems to be remotely untouched by Raziel's influence, which is, could be for better or for worse. For you guys, it probably makes you feel at least a bit comforted to see no signs of Raziel or his influence in this area as you're approaching the city. So, the first thing is the city is surrounded by a large triangular metal wall. And approaching, there is a huge line, very similar to when you first all met, a huge line outside of the city waiting to get in. This gives you kind of flashbacks to when you were 53 years ago waiting in line to get into Neltaurus, the city of elves, when you first met in the line waiting to get in.
Would I know if the play is to wait in the line or if there is another way to go?
Oh, there's so many back ways to get in.
Okay.
But you would just need to roll me a check to remember them.
Yeah. Can I actually I might have a hang on, let me check something. Feel like I have, can I show this?
Well, so if there's like lines, does that mean, if they're okay, if Raziel hasn't been here, does that mean that there's still like ID cards that you have to use to get in?
It doesn't seem like, well, go ahead and roll me a perception check, Nara.
Okay.
That's what I wanted. I have a city secrets as a feature. I posted it for you.
Right, that increases your speed.
Okay.
Let's see here.
The secret patterns and flow to cities and confined passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss when
Right.
you're not in combat.
Right.
So, but yeah, I can. What do you want me to roll?
I would like you to roll history with advantage.
Gotcha. My rolls have been very bad today.
Yeah, they have. Okay.
Unluck
So,
happens.
Nara, looking at the front of the line, you notice that nobody's asking for ID cards. There's not a single ID card being flashed. We'll say the first people you see in line that are walking in are a sort of middle-aged looking human family of mom, a dad, and two kids. And as they approach, there is actually no guard at the door of the city. Should I wait for her to come back?
I have no idea.
No, I'm still listening.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. You're good. There's no guard waiting at the gate here. It's a large metal gate that rises up and down, but there's no guard waiting there. The family walks up to the door. You can't really, they're pretty far away. They're like a few 100 feet away, so you can't really see what or like hear what they're saying. But you can see the dad like talking with his hands. He's talking to like the door, and then the door opens up and lets the family through. And as they walk through, the door closes again.
Seems
Guys-
like maybe there's some sort of secret code you have to.
Did you hear what
say.
they said?
No, I don't think so.
Did any of us? None of us heard what was said, right?
It was too far away for you to hear. But he looked stressed about. He didn't look like he was saying a password. He looked like he was like begging.
Kethrakk, what relation did you leave your family on?
I went out to go prove myself. And obviously, they must have thought I exiled myself willingly. So
So
I'm
kind of
unsure of what to
neutral.
expect. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have two options the way I see it. We have my method of getting in, which I cannot for the life of me tell which entrances might be run by my old gang, which I did not leave on good terms. Granted, Chandler knows that I'm coming to this city, and he said he was going to find me, which is good or bad. I don't know right now. I mean, I guess it's better than a maniacal person running everything, but it might be better to take your family's entrance, if there is one, and go in that way.
Yeah, we could go for that.
Do you know which entrance might be run by your family?
Yeah, I would think it would be on the northern part of Drudgemoor.
There is
where
a
my
northern
family
wall
is.
for you to try and enter through. So we'll start. Yeah, we'll have you guys walk up. So you guys walk up to the northern wall, northern entrance, and you also see a similar line of people, but much shorter here. The line isn't moving at all. In fact, it's more of just a group like standing around the entrance here. And you can see a lot of them like yelling as you're approaching. You can hear their voices in the distance. They're like yelling at the door, and the door is not opening. You're noticing they are a dirty, lowly group of people. They seem down on their luck. They're covered in sleet and wetness and grossness because it's snowing out here. And they are like yelling at the door to try and get in. You see a large looking dragonborn with dark green, kind of gross looking skin. And he is like wearing just rags. And he's yelling at the top of his lungs.
Why don't you just open the fucking door?
Just kind of yelling it. You don't hear a response from inside. As you guys are walking up, you kind of join the crowd. This large dragonborn seems to be running the show out here of the peasants that are standing out here. I guess I would call them peasants, but basically they're not peasants. They're just, I guess you would say, homeless people. They're homeless people.
Right.
Do you know a secret password to get in, Kethrakk?
Maybe nobody's working this door.
Both doors
Maybe.
seem like they had no people at them, like letting them in.
Oh.
Does there look like there's any Leonin in this group?
Looking around, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Yeah.
I have an idea of how I could get in.
No Leonin in this group.
Why don't we ask these people what's going on? Why can't they get in?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious they're not letting them in. But we have a Leonin, which I feel like gives us a better chance of getting in.
Can I like raise my voice
Yeah.
towards the gate and say something? I don't even know if this is gonna work, but I'll give it a try. Listen up. I come from the Silvermane clan. If you don't open this door right now, you're gonna hear about it, and you're not gonna be happy. My name is Kethrakk Silvermane, and you shall grant me passage. Poggers. I don't say poggers.
All right. As you say that, the large dragonborn, he puts his arm out in front of everyone else in the crowd and like backs them away from you.
Damn right.
This large green dragonborn. So he kind of moves all of these homeless folks like behind you, and he says,
If that doesn't work, I don't know what will.
and he nods his head at you. This like large dragonborn nods his head at you, and
I
as
nod
he
back.
does, you both look over at the gate, which stands still for a moment, and then slowly
Hell yeah.
rises. As you begin walking forward, The big green dragonborn puts his hand out in front of you, like in front of your chest area, and he says,
Kethrakk, you should let these people go first, in case they shut the door after you go in. Trust me, I've done this for many years. Fine. Thank you.
he waves a
But
bunch
don't
of women and
forget.
children in.
Do not forget. I do not forget.
He says as he nods. When he does, some like acidic smoke comes out of his nose. You're noticing as you're looking at him, he's like wearing like a big white wife beater kind of like shirt, and he's got this like raincoat that is wrapped around his waist, and he's not wearing it. He's just letting the sleet and snow fall on him. And as it falls on him, it like smokes a little bit. Like he's so like his body temperature is so hot that when the snow lands on him, it like tss, tss.
Got it.
And he nods his head and lets the women and children and some of the sickly people through. And as he does, the door starts to close on them as they're walking through. And he says,
He said Silvermane.
and then you hear a voice from seemingly like the wall itself, kind of come out of the wall. And it says, "Prove it."
Prove it. Silvermane, walk up to the door.
I walk up.
Okay. As you walk up to the door is like slightly open, like halfway open, which people would kind of have to like crouch down to get under it at this point. And to your right, there is like the big wall, and there's like a little hole in the wall with an eyeball peeking through it. And do you remember, both you and Zim recall that there are rotating guards who live inside the walls here of Drudgemoor, and they control the doors. They look through these little peepholes, and they are the decision makers of who gets into the town and who gets out of the town. The Silvermane Mafia, they have a huge name of like bankrolling these people and allowing who they want in and who they want out of the city. So your name struck a chord. It seems like he opened the door instinctively, and then once the Dragonborn started letting people that weren't you through, he started to close it again because he wasn't sure what was going on.
Right.
So he wanted you to walk up to the door to really get a good look at you.
Yeah.
As he's looking at you, he's going to roll a perception check. What kind of markings do you think you'd have? Would you have anything that would prove you were a Silvermane? You can decide this. Like, I'm not going to say no to whatever you say here. Like, you can tell me whatever you've got that you think would prove that you're a Silvermane. Maybe you have like a golden tooth. Maybe you have a claw pendant that you hold on to. Maybe you've got a
Can I have
tattoo.
like a cool tattoo on the back of my neck so when I lift up my mane, it like glows silver or something like in
Yeah.
moonlight? I don't know if it's nighttime right now, but
Yeah, that'll work. So
Cool.
as you lift up your mane and show him the tattoo on the back of your neck, he says,
I recognize that. All right. Are they all with you?
that's right.
Who are they?
Friends, acquaintances. It's my business.
And, does your dad know they're coming through?
He may not. It's been a while.
Been a while. How long you been gone?
Some years.
Went out to prove yourself, huh?
That's right.
an interesting point here. This guy notices your age, which you're not that old. You're in your, 20s, right?
Yeah.
Kethrakk? So, interestingly enough, Your dad would be somewhere close to 90 years old right now. Like you're.
So I'm not. I don't know the age of Leonin, like the average, but does my character kind of assume that he's dead?
Your dad, your biological dad, is either dead or close to dead, probably.
Okay. Got it.
The dad that this guy's talking about, so he sees your age as like a 20-year-old some Leonin, probably is talking about someone that was born around the same time as you or even younger than you, if he's talking about like a dad figure. So it seems like he's mentioning that there's someone like a father figure running the Silvermane Mafia. There's no way that it's your dad. It's probably someone else, but you're not sure who.
Okay.
So it is kind of an interesting, weird dilemma, because this guy obviously doesn't know you're a time traveler. He thinks you're just like one of the younger members of the Silvermane Mafia.
Okay. So it could even be somebody that was born in between the time that I was time traveling?
Yeah. Could be. It depends on...
Still would be my kin?
Yep. Would still be your kin.
Cool.
Okay, well, let them all through. And, tell your dad tell your dad Zitgar did a good job.
Will do.
He blinks a couple times as he's looking through the little peephole, and then the little peephole shuts with a little shh. There's a little metal door that shuts, closes off the peephole, and everyone walks through as the gate opens up fully. As you guys walk into the city, you are in the northern section of Drudgemoor, the northern region. And the buildings in this area are marked with signage that reminds you of a little bit of Neo-Taurus, in that there's a lot of this kind of like nightlife signage, like nude girls, XXX. You've got like you've got like a bunch of inns and bars in this area that like have signs for, free, like first drink is on us, or stuff like that. You've got people standing outside of these places, either smoking or leaning on the doors, talking with groups of people. The sun is setting. It's getting close to nighttime here. And you can hear the dull thump, 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 thump of music in this area of the city. As the people you guys came in with, the homeless people came in, they kind of scattered off into the distance of the alleyways in this area. The large green dragonborn being the only one to kind of stick behind slowly. And he says,
"Well, Kethrakk."
He puts his hand out.
"Thank you." "Of course."
Shakes your hand. He says,
"My name is Rothgar. You can find me at the docks. I work for the Blackbeards. If you need to get off if you need to get out of town, let me know." "Will do. Thank you."
he nods his head. A few acid drips kind of come out of his nose, and he puts on his trench coat, which now you're noticing is like a fisherman's trench coat, as he puts it around his body and walks off towards the docks. It seemed like he thought he could make it in through this area with those homeless people. He probably walked from the other line, you would guess, because it looked like they'd been out there for a while. And he was just wrong. They wouldn't let him in. So you were lucky that you got there and helped him get them in. Could be an interesting person. Looks like he is in his like late 30s for a Dragonborn. Could have a lot of good information for you.
Yeah.
So
and
if you would like to
know somebody down at the docks.
Yeah, it's good to know somebody down at the docks. Always good to know. Interesting that he works for the Blackbeards, being a group of dwarves. you noticed a kind of sneer on his face when he said it. Like he wasn't happy about it. He wasn't happy about that job. If you would like, you can roll me an insight check.
Sure.
Okay. With a 13, he definitely is not working for them because he likes it or because it is something that he wants to do. There could be a lot of reasons. He could either owe them money. He could just need to do it for his family. It may just be a necessity and it was the only job he could get. You're not sure, but it seems like it's almost like a servitude kind of thing as he heads back in that direction. He does not seem happy about it. If you want to ask him, anyone wants to ask him anything before he leaves, I should let you guys do that before he walks away. Because I kind of just said he walks away without asking if anyone wants to ask him anything.
Oh, can I ask him something?
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. I'm going to ask him. Do you know of anyone named Alondra?
He's going to roll a check.
Why? I have something that belongs to them, and I want to return it. The name sounds familiar. I will ask around. Thank you. I'll come check in down at the docks in the next couple days to see if you found anything. Appreciate it. Yes. In case you can't find me, where will you be? Not entirely sure. Need to check in with my father.
Around.
Most likely near the northern side of town. I steer clear of most silver mains, but you seem honorable. I'll keep an eye out for you as well.
Nods his head again. Anyone else have anything they wanted to ask? I know Zim and Pox are, I don't know, taking restroom breaks or something, but...
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think. I don't know what I would ask.
Anything that you're curious about? If you have anything you want to ask about the city, about...
I think, no, I don't. I think Nar is just like grossed out.
It is kind of a gross place compared to what Nar is probably used to. So yeah, as he walks away, you get a nice whiff of the acidy kind of fish smell that coming off of him, and he heads towards the docks. So, in this area of the city, like I said, you have that dull kind of thumping club music in the background. Looking around, Zim and Kethrakk, this place is almost unchanged from what you remember. In the last 50-some years, the only thing that seems different is a new coat of paint, some new business signs, like a business maybe died and a new business took its place kind of thing, and maybe a little bit like nicer materials on the buildings, like they've been refurbished a bit. But for the most part, it doesn't look like there's anything... You don't see any super big technology pieces, I should say. You don't see any high-tech shit. And you notice there's a guy standing outside of one of these cigar shops on the main strip here that you guys walked into. And he's standing outside the cigar shop smoking a big cigar. And between his fingers, he's like twiddling 2 gold pieces, which is a welcome sign. But at the same time, might be a bit worrying considering you changed a lot of your gold over to credits.
Yep.
I didn't. But I don't think I was loaded anyways.
We have shinies. I mean,
You
money.
have some.
So
We have valuable things.
Yeah, we could sell some stuff.
We have ways to acquire money. I'm not too worried.
I have a quick question, Commander. If this is Cyberpunk, do they have health potions or is it something else?
Yeah, health potions, yep.
Oh, okay.
They just
We
come
need-
in like shots now.
Oh,
In the
we need
future.
those. Okay.
They come in like hypoallergenic shot kind of things.
Oh, okay.
So Kethrakk, do you know where your family is? Should we stop and see them first? Say hi, seeing as you used their name to get in.
I mean, Kethrakk maybe not doesn't want to see his family. Do you? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Nora, you don't make an entrance like that and avoid your family.
I mean, you can. You totally can.
Not here, you can.
Listen, I do want to see if my father still lives. If you would all join me,
Yeah.
I want to go see him. But if you don't want to come, you don't have to.
No, we will come. I just know how I feel about my own personal things. You don't have to like go if you don't want to. You know what I mean?
I don't
understand.
think you understand how that works, Nora. Imagine you walked in the middle of your village and then didn't want to associate at all with any of your family.
I don't.
I know,
What
but
do you mean?
it wouldn't be possible if you're in the middle of your village.
It's 20 miles. 20 miles.
This is a
It's a huge flat city. It's
Uh,
expansive. It's
uh,
20 miles dead to end.
I think you
Huge.
highly underestimate.
How many?
Not even including technological advances in the last 53 years. Okay. Beyond that, before you couldn't walk into a city without a family knowing about it. I can only imagine in the last 53 years that has gotten way easier.
No way. I think we're fine.
You remember Chandler?
Who?
Kethrakk wants to see his family though, and I
Yeah.
would be honored to meet your family, Kethrakk.
Let's
Thank
go.
Yeah, let's go see your family.
Whenever you guys
They
are
probably
ready.
don't. They'll be so surprised.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
You don't look a day over 20 something, Kethrakk. They're going to be surprised.
Well aware.
Okay.
You look really good for 20 something.
Thank you.
Time travel. That's kind of cool. That's got to be an achievement of some kind.
53 years, right?
Yeah.
What year is it now?
What'd you say?
What year is it now? I was asking the party.
Hang on. I just know it's 53 years.
Oh, you don't know what year it is?
I don't remember what year it was.
Nara, do you know what year it is?
Listen, I don't even know what day of the week it is.
Okay, shall we continue?
Okay.
Let's
All right.
go. Just
All right.
wanted to ask.
Okay, so as you guys enter into the city, like the heart of the city here, you can kind of think of Drudgemoor as like a few different like little cities combined to make it easier on you. So we call this North Drudgemoor. It is kind of like the most New York City-ish, like downtown New York City-ish of the places here in Drudgemoor. What's striking about this place in particular is the type of people is extremely diverse. Like, you can see races of all kinds in this area, from kobolds to centaurs to even, Zim, you notice a Nothic walking around with a suit on. And as it sees you, it kind of like straightens up its suit and stands up a little bit and tilts its head and then turns away and keeps walking.
Can I do an insight check to see if that was possibly a Midnight Hollow?
Roll an insight check, sure. 22. You would assume that is not your normal Nothic. You're not sure if it's a Midnight Hollow, but if you can turn into a Nothic, it's probable that there's more Midnight Hollows that can.
Yeah.
So it's possible that it could be one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wearing like a nice purple suit that it ruffles a little bit and kind of just straightens up as it sees you, tilts its head, its big eye looking at you, and then about faces and turns away to walk down an alley. As you're noticing it, kind of looking at it and rolling your insight check, as in like looking at it really closely to see if you can tell. You hear a voice from behind you, all of you, coming out of an alleyway. And the voice says, I didn't think you'd make it. Honestly. As you turn around, you see like kind of like laying in a garbage bin, like one of these big dumpsters. You see an old Jenkins robot, broken down.
Yeah, well, I don't know why I thought we wouldn't make it, but we did.
He takes off the Jenkins accent, the kind of like high pitched nasally accent, and he says, I told you I'd find you as soon as you got into town.
That's, yeah.
I've got eyes everywhere.
Yeah, you're quick. Wow.
Yeah, I was just talking about that.
Come here. Stand next to this dumpster. The little robot's arm like kind of raises up a little bit, and then he does like the kind of like come here motion.
I think they found us.
Yes, Pox. Okay, sure.
I'm gonna walk over to him.
So as you walk over there, the rest of the party, what are you doing?
I'll walk closer to the dumpster, I guess.
I'm gonna kind of stand the furthest out because I'm antsy.
Yeah.
I want to look for bottle caps.
Roll a perception check.
Fuck.
None in the area. Just old pizza boxes.
I want to look menacingly at this Jenkins bot. Because I despise these Jenkins. It doesn't have a hat, does it?
It does. Is wearing like an Oliver Twist little beret.
No. God, I despise that beret. God, what is this thematic? These Jenkinses, they're everywhere. I wish there were bottle caps.
It looks at you and says, "Please, sir, may I have some more?"
God, look at it.
Pox, the quicker we're done, the quicker we get to leave.
Just, God, all right. Do it. Talk to the Jenkins.
So you can see Chandler's eyes behind the bot. And they are gentle, honestly. They seem withered and tired as they're looking at you, Zim. And he says, look at me. Reduced to this. I can't even get up. And the robot kind of tries getting out of the dumpster, but it just kind of fails.
Why don't they just make you some mobile robots?
Oh. I have plenty of them. It is just unfortunate that I can't... You wouldn't understand.
You're right. I would not understand at all.
So, what do you remember about him? From
The only
your
thing
first encounter?
I remember about him is he was functionally a paraplegic, wasn't he? He couldn't
paralyzed
move at
from
all.
the neck down.
Yeah.
Is he living in like constant pain or something?
You're not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
What you do know is, so Zim, when you met him as a kid, he was paralyzed from the waist down. And that was already a hard enough life.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, he's a very vulnerable kid, so the Hollows grabbed him. He's got a big brain, smart brain, intelligent kid. So they used him to experiment with telepathic abilities, in which they did give that to him, but because of the experimenting and the surgeries they performed on him, they accidentally severed the rest of the nerves from his neck down. So not only did he have waist down paralyzation, but now he is completely paralyzed from the neck down. You're not sure where he is. But what you remember from where he's at is that they move him around. They move him to different locations because he often complains about the lack of scenery. So they move him from spot to spot. And you also remember it was done very reluctantly. People would like take turns being the one who has to move Chandler. Like, oh, you've got to move Chandler, you know, because he's a kid. He was a kid. He didn't like sitting and staring at the same wall all the time. He wanted to get from place to place, and he refused to do the work that was assigned to him if he didn't get his way. He was kind of specific about that. And it makes sense. As a kid, you get bored. And you can tell over the last 50 some years, he's gotten pretty good at his work. But he seems, and I'm just going to give it to you because it's very obvious. He seems very tired and jaded as he's talking with you.
Chandler, it's been 53 years. Do they really not have any of the technology to, fix you up? I mean, strong magic beforehand could have probably done the trick, to be honest. But, I mean, now they have technology.
The robot Jenkins tilts its head. You can still see Chandler's eyes kind of glowing from behind it. And you see them like welling. Like the eyes are like welling and like kind of glossing over. And he doesn't respond to what you said.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he's holding back tears.
Do you still get to move around and see scenery?
The robot slowly shakes its head. No.
I thought you would just stop doing work. That's what you used to always threaten before. Wasn't really an option whether or not you could.
As you say that, he doesn't say anything, but he does take the little robot, like the Jenkins bot that's laying here in the dumpster, takes its finger and puts it up to its lips.
I gotcha.
He says, "Do you have quill and paper?"
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should.
Yep.
You actually have pens, because pens exist now. So
Yeah. I'll pull that out and hand it to him.
okay. As he grabs the pen and paper, he goes to like write on it, and as he does, one of the bot's fingers break, and the pen kind of falls out of its hand into the dumpster, and he starts like kind of grabbing around for it. He can't really see.
I'm gonna pick it up for him.
Okay. So you pick it up, you put it back into his hand, and he goes to write, and it's very messy. It looks like a child's handwriting, which makes sense because the last time he was able to write, he was a child.
Yeah.
And he says on the paper, it says, "Find me where the owl bears are." He hands you the note, and he says, "I know I didn't say much last we talked, but to be honest, I thought you'd die before you got here." I
Little
don't want
negative.
to get my hopes up.
Should be more
Hmm.
positive.
Yeah. Well, I think that we can try to work on that positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is 1593 after all. It's a wonderful time to be alive.
For you, maybe.
What you put out, you get in. So just think positive thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Anyways, am I gonna have
That's
to have a
some
meeting,
elf.
Chandler?
Bullshit.
I cannot say.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure unless there's other people that can shapeshift in the Nordics, I'm pretty sure I've already been packed.
Oh, yes. The Hollows know you're here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I-
I'll probably got to have a meeting with them anyways. So, yeah, that should be
Be more
exciting.
secretive, Sam. I mean, you know, we're being hush hush, and you're just throwing out all our secrets out right now.
Which secret?
All of them.
All of them?
Which ones?
Every single one. They're gone now.
I don't think you realize. Oh my God, my brain right now is gonna just implode upon itself.
What's wrong?
We don't have secrets.
Not anymore, we don't.
We didn't really have
Just-
secrets anyways.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
We
I
have
guess they just weren't
something.
secrets to you.
But Chandler basically knows everything about us. The Midnight Hollows basically have already picked me.
Yeah, but somebody's listening. That's why. That's why he wrote it down on a paper.
Nara, that was something else. Please stop talking.
Just being awful secretive over there, but not about our secrets. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's get going, shall we?
Okay.
Chandler,
I just-
it was a pleasure seeing you. I'll probably be seeing you when I go have to meet the Midnight Hollows, I'm sure.
As you say that, the bot says, Zim, one more thing.
Yeah.
And then the bot dies.
Oh my! Come on!
Look at what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out later.
Oh,
I hope we.
If only
did.
you hadn't wasted all that time telling them all our secrets.
Okay, let's keep going. I don't know. What
I just in
secrets you're talking about.
5093, I just think there'd be a little more transparency. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So heading out of
Pox
this alleyway
takes a sip of
back into the northern district of the city. Looking around, you have a few different places you can go. So I'll give you some landmarks. The first of which, if you want to head straight for it, you can head to where you remember the Silvermane Mafia's headquarters to be, which was at the back of a large casino called the Onyx Rose. So you can head there if you'd like. There's also a bunch of like inns, hotels, and bars in this area for you to talk with locals and just do some role play of finding information. I'll give you some different scenarios we can do there. There's also in this area, the last thing I'll kind of give you is in this area, there are enough people for you to kind of try and blend in and maybe like dress more like you're from Drudgemoor, buy some clothes, do some like shopping around. It's a very populous area of the city with so many different races of people that you guys blend in really well. But right now your clothes are kind of neo-touristy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna go look at clothes.
Let's
Listen,
go shopping.
we can go look at clothes, but I'm not changing clothes. These are the same clothes I was wearing 53 years ago. They're going to be the same clothes I'm wearing now.
But I feel like you need to change your mindset a little bit because you're sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, well, you
when
know
we
what?
have like an evil maniac chasing us.
No, not here. We don't. Well, we have different evil maniacs, but yeah. So, my point still being, I looked like this 53 years ago. I'm not changing the way I look.
Do you think that Dragonborn spends a lot of money on clothes? I should have asked him that before he left. God damn it.
Definitely not.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
That sounds like a very disrespectful thing to ask someone, not going to lie.
He's drooling in front of us. Totally fair to ask him.
So
I don't think
we're
it
gonna
is.
keep it rolling. I'm gonna put the hammer down to keep it rolling. The little banter side talks. I know a lot of people want to get into some action and stuff, so we're gonna keep it rolling if that's okay with everyone.
Well, we need Kethrakk to decide where he wants to go to visit his family.
Right. You said you wanted to get some clothes first. I think.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like we should do the Kethrakk thing first because I feel like that's probably more important. We should also blend in.
Can
But
we?
can we just say that
we-
we go in and get clothes?
Yeah.
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 I was gonna assume that if you went into a place, you don't have to, but I was assuming you would like want to talk and maybe get some information about whatever you're curious about from locals, people who live here and work as shop owners and things. If there's nothing you're curious about, then that's fine.
Curious about the khakis in aisle 3. Maybe
They
some
are
denim.
great. They are perfect for you.
Oh. Now, do you think I'm more of like a boot cut or like a
Straight.
know? Yeah, really?
You're talking with a man with a jellyfish for a head.
How long you been working here?
He caresses you with one of his jellyfish tentacles.
I'm walking away. I'm going, and I'm grabbing a pair of pants and I'm praying that just
2 days in a
these are the
row, we
ones.
have weird
Okay.
tentacle things happening.
this is the one. These are the pants. I got it. I'll tell them Kevin helped me at the.
Zim, is there anything important we should ask?
I
the
build
shop
all
owner?
of these big worlds with great lore, and you guys are like, huh, what about the khakis in aisle 3?
We got to see one of your weird characters. What was this fucking retail jellyfish?
That one I made up
I'm-
because the khaki thing was not interesting to me, so I made up a fucking character that was interesting.
More of a one. It was more of a one-off kind
I
of.
feel like
joke.
we'll probably ask all of our questions to Kethrakk's family.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I agree.
Every
I
show
feel
has
like-
filler
'Cause
art.
I don't know who to trust, and I don't
Yeah,
really
I
trust
think
them. But
wanna
I
be asking people like weird questions. They'll be like, "What are you? Who are you? You're sus." You know.
Yeah. What are we just walking up to strangers, asking them the
Yeah.
answers to the?
I don't talk to strangers in real life. What makes you think I'm going to talk to strangers in a fantasy role play game?
Because it's a
They don't
fantasy
even-
role play game where you get to be someone you're not in real life.
They don't even know about the khakis. How are they gonna?
I will probably talk to Kethrakk's family because I trust them a little bit more than I trust the people because I don't know who they're working for. I don't know if they're on their own. I don't know if they're working for some other gangs. At least I know who I'm giving away my secrets to.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know who these
I do
pants
need
are
to know:
working
are you
for.
planning on doing like this kind of clothing shopping before you meet Kethrakk's family or not?
Yes, I would imagine we would grab and pick up clothes real quick.
All right. So then I would
Minus
need
me,
to know
I
if
look the same.
Kethrakk is following you into these places.
I would
Wear
imagine so,
clothes?
unless otherwise said by Kethrakk.
Okay. So it's hard to kind of role play it when he's not here.
Yeah, we can always
But-
take a quick break and use the bathroom too.
Yeah, we've only got like 30 minutes left, so everyone
Yeah.
take a quick break. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Hopefully, Kethrakk gets back.
Take a 3-minute break if you need to use the restroom, grab a drink. I'll go get a
This-
water bottle.
This city feels worse than Neo Taurus.
It is
Like
much.
we're constantly on guard. I feel like.
It's different. It's a different kind of guard, though.
Yeah.
It's more like you really. Your characters should understand that you do not need to worry about Raziel here. Like the people here do not give a shit about Raziel.
The thing that's like I'm thinking is this city is so bad that even Raziel is not here.
Exactly. But it's
So-
kind of like, you can kind of think of it like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a Gatorade.
What do you think of these khakis?
I don't like khakis, to be honest.
I prefer chinos.
I don't like a cloak.
I'll be right back.
A cloak? Oh, good, he is back.
Okay.
We need you, Kethrakk, because cool shit happens.
Yo,
Ready, spaghetti? All
I
right.
think we're missing Wem, but we have Kethrakk.
All right. So as you guys walk into the clothing shop to buy things, I know you kind of wanted to skip through this, but it is important because as you walk in, the shop owner, who is like I said, he's like a kind of like a jellyfish person. He's got like a jellyfish for a head, but his body's kind of looks humanoid. The eyes are kind of floating around in the jelly of the jellyfish. And when he speaks, he's kind of got like a bubbly feel to it, kind of like gurgles when he speaks, which I can't do with my voice, but you can just imagine it. Sorry, I ran up and down the stairs. Give me a second.
I too need to do more cardio.
Jesus, Whip tracks his forehead. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means the world to me to see the support. Thank you so much. Okay. So he says as you all walk in, he says, "Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome to my." And then as he sees Kethrakk walk in, he says, he kind of stands up straight and he says, "Hello. Hello, Silvermane, I presume."
Yes, that's right.
Well, I've never had taxes collected from you before.
I'm not here to do that.
Oh.
I'm here with friends.
Oh, friends of the Silvermane are friends of mine. What are you looking for? Clothes, apparently. He kind of like points over to the khaki aisle that Pox is eyeballing. He says, "Those interest you, khakis? You like khakis? How about your dress shirts? What are you looking for? Anything in particular?"
No khakis, I don't think. I think we just want to, be able to blend in.
At this point, whatever kind of clothes you want, I'll kind of remind you, this town has kind of like it's kind of like a 1920s New York feel. So if you want to think of like 1920s New York fashion, that's kind of like you saw the Nothic was wearing like a suit.
Oh. I actually don't look that out of place then.
Yeah, you look fine with the vest and
I fit in everywhere.
think of like neo-noir, actually more like just straight up noir, like 1920s noir. That's kind of what this town has a feel of. Or like The Godfather, like that kind of like mobsters New York kind of feel. So whatever clothes you want, you don't need to tell me what they are. This guy's got them. It's going to cost for all of your clothes. He is going to charge you. It would normally be, we would say like 10 gold pieces for all the clothes altogether. But he only charges you 2 gold pieces for them.
Does he charge credits?
That's right.
He does not charge credits.
Kethrakk,
That's
I
right, he
believe
gave us
this
a
is all on you. I don't have anything but credits.
Oh, I think Kethrakk just got us a lot of gold off.
That is definitely true.
I literally have 9 gold right now. I say
have
that kind of
some. I
hushed.
have some. I didn't take all of mine over. I'll pay for it.
Okay. So go ahead and mark 2 gold off. And then as you are finishing up shopping here, the jellyfish man, he says, let your father know I did a good job, please.
I'll make my decision on the way out. Thank you.
Would you like me to shine your shoes?
That's quite all right.
Okay. What about your friends? Anyone shoe shine? Shoe shine anyone?
No.
I'm okay.
We just like to get our business done and be on our way.
Oh, yes, please, please. He holds the door open for you. Ding.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So you leave this guy's shop. You've got your clothes all set up. You're much more blended in now. And where would you like to head in the like locations I gave you. Are we assuming we're heading to the Onyx Rose?
That's the casino, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would assume so, unless someone says differently.
Yeah, I'd like to.
All right. So as you approach the Onyx Rose, it's one of the largest buildings in the city, made of like this obsidian black marble on the outside. And the logo is a big rose, and in the middle of like the rose petals is a lion's face sticking out of it. So the rose petals are like the mane of the lion. And as you approach the casino, it is getting late. It's probably 10 o'clock p.m. or so, and you can hear that dull kind of like thump, 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 thump of music from inside this place as well. It looks like it's a mixture of like a club and a casino. People are standing outside in like dresses, like, you know, club dresses and tuxes and things like that. And Kethrakk, you see a silver-maned Leonin standing at the end of the long line of people, and he is like patting people down as they are heading in through the glass doors. He is wearing a like mobster trench coat and a suit. He's got this real sleek looking bolo hat that he's wearing, and looks like he's got a big scar across his nose as well. Go ahead and roll me a history check, Kethrakk, as you're looking at him. Okay. With a 14, you don't recognize this particular guy. He looks like he's probably been born in the time you've been gone. He looks like he's in his late 40s. But if you were to try and kind of gauge the numbers of Leonin in the clan, he would probably be one of the ones closer to your time period than most. But definitely born after you left at some point, like after you left for your to prove yourself. So he might know you. He might know of you, but you're not sure. As you guys are kind of walking up, do you go to the end of the line? Do you just walk straight up to the guy patting people down, this Leonin I described, or do you want to try and go through the back entrance that you remember?
I don't think I want to cause a big commotion. I
Okay.
think I want to say, guys, let's try to go around back. I don't think we want a big scene, especially in front of the patrons.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. It's your home, not mine.
All right. So you head towards the back of the Onyx Rose, which as you walk back here, the thump, thump, thump of the music gets softer and softer. It's a large building, the largest building in this area of the city. And as you get around to the back side, this is like the cargo entrance. This is where, you know, they bring the food for the buffet, and they bring the drinks and drop off all the extra, you know, furniture, and you know, it's like got a big garage door. It's the cargo entrance of the casino. And as you come back here, there is a large red door on the back side of this black marble building, and on this red door there is that logo of the lion with the mane of rose petals around its face. And Kethrakk, you remember that if you walk up to this red door at the back of the casino, and you specifically, you or anyone else in the Silvermane clan, if you unretract your middle finger and your pointer finger claws and stick them into the eye holes of that logo, the door will unlock.
I'm going to do it.
All right. So you walk up, you basically poke the lion in the eyes with your retractable claws and poke them into the eye holes. And as they do, you hear like a slight like noise, like a and the door makes like a slight shifting noise, and it seems like it has unlocked. As you reach for the diamond handle that's on it, it opens up inward to the casino, which then you kind of can now hear that dull music again as you open the door. Just very, very far in the distance, you hear that thump, thump, thump noise. This door.
The intermission thing is still up.
Oops. Thanks. This door leads to the back, like, meeting rooms in the casino. And also, like, the recreation rooms for the Silvermane to hang out. You would normally have to walk all the way through the casino to the back of it and talk to a guard to be able to access the area you're about to access. But instead, if you're a member of the Silvermane clan, your claws are literally, like, when you're born, they are chipped so that they, like, by chipped, I mean, like, scraped and sculpted with, like, a tool so that they're like keys that work on that lock specifically. And they don't grow back. Like, they don't, you know, they stay that way. So your two claws are like little keys that go in there, and that's the only things that can get through there. You've never heard of somebody trying to pick that lock, because you need to pick two locks at once, both eye hole locks. But you probably think it could be done by like an expert lockpick. But if somebody did that and they got caught, they would literally be ripped apart by the Silvermane Mafia for trying to do that, because it's a very secretive entrance. Most people don't even know it exists. So, as you walk down this hallway, which is laden with these beautiful red velvet walls and this red carpet that leads you all the way in, you come to a crossing. At the end of this crossing, it's like a T-shaped crossing. To your left is what you remember is the walkway to like the rec area, where there's like a pool table, there's a personal bar. It's where you would hang out. You remember sitting in there and either playing pool or just like playing with your toys. When your dad was around, he would just leave you in the rec room and go do his job. You remember to the right, though, for this T intersection, to the right is like meeting rooms, and specifically your dad's office is at the end of the hallway on the right. So to the left is to the rec room, and to the right is like meeting rooms and your dad's like mafia boss office. Both hallways are lined with that red carpet and beautiful red velvet walls. It's very nice in here. Chandeliers hanging from the ceilings of the hallway as well.
Nice place.
Which way you want to go? Nobody seems to be around currently, like in the hallway that you're standing in.
So left was the rec room?
Left towards the rec room, right towards the former office of your dad, and like meeting rooms for when they want to make deals with people and that kind of thing, or break people's kneecaps.
I think I'm going to go right.
All right. The group is following you because they're in unfamiliar territory.
Right.
So as you lead the way to the right, go ahead and roll me a history check, please. Okay. So nothing in particular really standing out to you with a 1. But as you're walking down, you notice just a few slight differences from when you were a kid. The first of which is that it's like a bit longer of a hallway. It seems like it's been added onto, and the room that your dad used to kind of be the boss of is no longer the end of that hall. You recognize the door and you're like, this should be like the end of the hall, but it's only like halfway down the hall now. The hall is much longer than it used to be. And the door that used to be your dad's office is barred off. There are like wooden like coverings on the door, so that nobody can go in, and it says off limits. And then if you continue down the hall, you notice that there's like new refurbished rooms, like newly added on rooms, 3 specifically in this hallway. And as you go all the way to the end, you start hearing like a grunting behind one of the doors. It's not the very last door, it's the second to last door, but you hear like this grunting, like,
I don't see a sock on the door.
Think,
should we go in?
Something instantly like triggers in me, and I think someone's in trouble, and so I'll run up to the door and try to open it.
Zim, did you want to say something before I describe what happens?
I'm just gonna be like,
I mean, your family's part of the mafia.
as he like goes to open the door.
Okay. You go to open the door, and as you open it up, you swing it open. This is it seems like an office room, like somebody's office. There's no name on the door or on the desk that you're looking at, but it's like a big wooden desk. Think of like the Godfather movie where he's like sitting behind the desk, like petting the cat. It's like that kind of room. And sitting in the chair, tied up, is a kind of beefy looking kobold with blue skin and a gag in his mouth, tied to the chair of this room. And you can see on the desk there is a cigarette, a place where you put your cigarette out. What are those called? Ashtray.
Yeah.
That's still got a smoking cigarette on it. And you see the window is open to this room, and the kobold is like looking at the window, like looking behind him at the window.
I suppose I'll rush over to the window and look out.
Okay. As you look out, you don't see anything in particular. Just by looking, you need to roll me a perception check.
Can I roll one too? Because I want to look too. Or no?
Yeah, we'll let two people stick their head out the window. That's fine.
Okay.
There's enough room for two people. All right. So with a 20 and a 17, you guys both look out the window, and you see like the tail of another kobold kind of rounding the corner of the Onyx Rose out of sight. And then that grunting of like and then just like a frustrated like and then he lays his head down, like the kobold lays his head down on the desk.
You might want to close that window, Kethrakk.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And don't untie this dude.
No,
Is there
no
something
chance.
in the desk, you think? There's
Probably,
probably
but
a
you don't
key
go
in the
digging around in the desk. Okay. Nara, I feel like you don't understand what's going on here. I'm going to be really honest.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay.
So can we look around the room to see if it looks like there's been any foul play?
Sure. Roll me investigation checks. Anyone can roll these.
Can I remove the kobold's gag and ask what?
Yeah.
Looks like I do.
Yeah, I want to. I want to remove the.
My low roll is because I'm panicked, obviously.
Right. You're like, it's a mixture of like panic, excited.
Yeah.
So we're going to say, as you guys begin to look around through the desk and through the room here, Pox, you walk up and remove the wrappings around the kobold's snout.
Excuse me.
He, his eyes get very confused looking, and he raises an eyebrow, a scaly eyebrow, and like slowly lifts his head up from the table, which is now like covered in his kobold tears. And
What just happened?
He looks up. Nothing.
I can back up.
Yeah, okay. And I put the gag back on him.
He goes.
I mean, we
Nothing
can go back
happened.
to using the cigarette
you're fine.
again if you want there, kobold friend.
His eyes get big, and he's like.
Okay, well, you sit there and you think about it for a minute while we look around the room.
All right. With those investigation checks, Kethrakk, not much to see, but I do want you to roll again. I want you to roll again, real quick. Okay, really not much to see. Zim, with a 14 looking around the room, you start looking through some of the drawers of the desk and trying to figure out exactly whose room this is. Looking through the desk, with a 14, you don't see much of like incriminating evidence or anything that's super pointing towards like who this room belongs to. But you do find a locked drawer Specifically, it's like the bottom left drawer of the desk. And when you're pulling on it, you can hear like a jingling inside the drawer. Nara, with a 21, looking through the desk, you're finding similar things to Zim, like really not much, until you flip over what looks like just like a piece of paper. You flip over a piece of paper, and it's got like a checklist on it. And it says, let me pull it up here. The checklist says, find Vinny is the first thing. Find Vinny. Bring him home. Kill him and his friend.
Okay.
As you like flip it over, the kobold sitting in the chair is just like kind of like bawling as the tears are like dripping down his nose. He looks at the note. You notice that find Vinny, bring him home are both checked off. As he's looking at the checklist, he goes,
I'm gonna take the note away from him so he can't see it, and then I'm gonna be like, "What's your name?"
Do you ungag him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up the cigarette and take a drag from it.
It wouldn't have to happen to be Vinny, would it?
My Viggy.
Oh, that's Vinny. This is Vinny. I'm gonna put it back in his mouth.
He rolled a 3 deception.
Proud of him.
I'm not the only one rolling low.
Pride. Okay, I'm gonna put it back in his mouth.
Well, only a couple more steps left. I mean, we could finish this off.
Kethrakk, we weren't here to find out who your family is mugging. We were here to find your family. What do you want to do with this guy? It seems like getting into your family's business a little deep there.
Right.
I don't know how your family will act. My family might stab me in the gut. So
I think we should keep the information that we've got. Keep Viggy here and look around a little more.
Biggie, stop crying. Seriously,
We
it
could
doesn't
just
look good on
finish
you.
off this grocery list. That'd be quick.
Not my job yet.
Where's your friend?
And then I want to.
He looks back at the window.
Look at Viggy and say,
Oh, his friend jumped out the window.
Oh, one got away.
I want to look at Viggy and say, was that your friend that jumped out? Be honest.
Roll an
Or
intimidation
else
check with
I'll
advantage,
do it
please.
myself.
With advantage. Yeah, with a 23. His eyes are all welled up with tears as he nods his head.
Dry, huh?
Okay.
Nods
that
his head with a
Vinny?
yes, that is.
No, I was his friend.
Vinny and Viggy?
I'll say, I believe you, but it's still not my job to take care of you. So you'll be staying here. Then going to encourage the party, I think, to continue at least looking around.
What are you looking for here, Kethrakk? I thought we were here to see a dad.
That's who I'm looking for. I
Should we
haven't found
close the
anyone
window?
I haven't found anyone other than who was at the front letting people in. Where is everyone?
Shouldn't we ask someone?
Who?
I mean, the dude
Yeah.
at front would be a start.
Well, let's go the other way down the hallway.
Should we close the window before we go?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah. Lock it.
All right. As you close the window and go to lock it, the lock seems broken on the window.
Nail it. Just,
But you can close it. It just can't. It doesn't seem like it'll lock.
all right.
Can we check to make sure that our pal here in the chair is actually tied in very well?
Yeah. It seems. I mean, he seems well tied. He seems like he's been struggling this whole time. You've been talking and at his wrists and trying to pull away from the bindings, and they're just not coming loose. He's a beefy looking kobold, but he's not like he's nowhere near you.
Right.
He's not going to be able to pull out of these restraints.
Do you want me to put one of the immovable rods in the window temporarily?
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
mean,
it.
I don't.
I was actually thinking that already.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You can kind of block it off with a bar.
Yeah.
The
But
window opens outward.
Oh,
you'd have
does
to-
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you'd have to go out.
I got you. Could we put multiple of them so it makes just bars on the inside?
You could put all three of them up in front of the window.
Yeah.
And it would make bars that nobody would really be able to slip through unless they were a small creature.
Well, I guess it's a kobold. The kobold is small.
Like, I'm
You could
sorry,
put
I meant
'em-
like the
if you just
size
put
of
them
like a
vertically,
cat.
though.
Oh, a tiny
Right.
creature. Okay.
Yeah, a tiny creature.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Tiny.
that's fine.
All right.
That'll work.
All right, you set up the immovable rods in this particular office, this unnamed office.
Let's not forget those, please.
All right. You're leaving this room heading towards the rec area. Is that right, Kethrakk?
Yeah, I think so.
Heading down the other hallway? All right.
Yeah.
As you're heading out of this room, you go ahead and roll me perception checks, everybody, as you guys are leaving this room. Okay. Appropriately, I'd say, Kethrakk and Zim, as you guys are both heading out of this room, leading the pack, which makes sense. You see to your right, one of the doors, the last door of the hallway, the one at the very end of the hallway, is like slightly creaked open, which it wasn't before.
Kethrakk, do you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Should we go check it out?
Sure. I think something weird is happening here.
Okay, well, let's go look.
We'll be right behind you.
We're gonna start walking down.
All right.
Let's go
So
first.
you go down to that door and push it open. And looking inside this room, you see another open window. The desk here looks like it's been ransacked. Like all of the drawers are open. There's still a lockpick sticking out of one of the bottom left drawer of this particular room. And on the desk is a sorry, give me a second. What are those things called? Nameplate. And it says Korthaz Blackclaw Silvermane Jr. Korthaz Blackclaw in quotation marks, Silvermane Jr., which Korthaz Blackclaw Silvermane is your father, Kethrakk, as you might remember.
Yeah.
Which would mean that this is your brother. Your brother's room.
Got it.
Roll me a history check. Yeah, good. With a 17. Actually, roll with advantage. Sorry. Roll again. Just double checking. Okay. Yeah, 17. What you remember about your brother is, first of all, he's slightly younger than you. And he was one of the favorites. Kind of almost babied by your dad and your mom. He was, from what you remember, I mean, when you left, he was like 10. So he was young. But
Right.
from what you remember about him, he was especially quiet. for his age and for the family. He didn't talk much, but when he did talk, he was very mature for like a 10-year-old. Like, he knew about a lot of stuff. He knew about things that he probably shouldn't have known about. He may have creeped you out. I'm not sure. But he was the kind of kid who would take the action figures and rip the heads off.
Oh.
He was the kind of kid who, like, once in a while would get sent home from school for getting into a fight and, like, breaking the other kid's arm. And then dad would, like, pat him on the back. So he was, even at 10 years old, a little bit unhinged from what you remember with the 17.
Got it.
He doesn't seem to be in here right now. But you know, as soon as he comes back, whatever just happened to his desk, which you can tell it just happened.
Yeah.
Because there's still papers like falling to the ground off the desk. He's not going to be happy about. Pretty obviously. And as you are looking at this desk, everyone is kind of staring at this room. Kethrakk, you're getting these kind of flashbacks. You all hear a voice from the hallway. And it says,
"Who is in my room?"
Not us.
I'm gonna look.
I'm gonna
Come out with your
speak
hands up.
I'm gonna speak up first and say, "Brother, it's been a long time." And then walk out into the hallway with my hands up.
okay, as you come out in the hallway, he's already saying,
I don't recognize that voice.
but as you come out into the hall, he stops for a second. He rolls a 24 history check.
I think he knows his history.
God damn.
I'll describe him first to you. So your brother is somewhat thin for a Leon, and he's not nearly as buff as you are. He is taller though. He's about 7'2", so he's very tall and more kind of lanky. His mane is thin and wiry, and he's got a septum piercing in his nose. You notice he's wearing a really nice white tuxedo, one that reminds you of your dad. Your dad was found in a white tuxedo with a red rose a lot of the time. It was like his signature look, and your brother's wearing it. He looks like a cheap imitation, though. Looks like a cheap imitation compared to what you remember your dad. Your dad was buff. He filled out the suit. He filled out the jacket. His presence was commanding. Your dad's was. But your brother here, again, he's thin and lanky. He's tall, but he's not commanding in his presence. He tilts his head as he looks at you, his septum piercing, kind of shining in the chandelier light. And he squints as he looks at you. And he says,
Kethrakk?
Yeah.
and that's where we're going to end it for today.
Oh, yeah.
Good
The
ending.
Kethrakk arc is here. Let's go.